What is up, TradingView, and welcome back to another market breakdown where we are covering none other than XAU USD, aka GC1 exclamation mark, aka MGC1 if you're trading micros. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and break this thing down. Now, I'm doing something a little bit different. We're going to start off on our much higher time frame, which is our monthly. And I'm doing this for a specific reason because if you look at where we're at in our trend, okay, and I want us to keep this in retrospect and in mind as we're going to approach the market today, which is where have we just broken out of? Now, if you take this away from the weekly time or the monthly time frame and you were just looking at this as a regular chart or regular pair, how does this shape up in the grand scheme of things? What does this actually look like if this was the 1 hour time frame and we were zoomed in? If we were just coming from a flag, this is the 1 hour time frame push up. What would you be expecting from the market? And that's something that I was keeping in mind because my first immediate reaction is maybe we get a little bit of a retracement, but for the most part, the market can continue up and then give us a pullback. So something I want to keep in mind as we start to drop down into our lower time frames today. And as we drop into our weekly time frame, again, we get a break of structure, push back in, a flag here. This is our flag that we get. Market now pushes higher, and now we're getting a bit of this structured look of the market. Price comes up, fills the gap, and now we're getting somewhat of a drop here. Now, yesterday, as I was looking at the market, I was wanting the market to go ahead and just push higher and either get a clear rejection or a push back into the structure where we start to get a clear indication the market wants to drop lower. But it didn't do that. Instead, we got a drop back yesterday. And again, I was either looking for a rejection to the top down, or we were wanting a push up with a clear break of structure where we now form some sort of pattern up in this area to continue to take the market higher. It didn't do that, but I'm not super worried about what it didn't do. I'm more focused on what is the market currently doing. So now we're going to go ahead and we're dropping into our daily time frame. Now, there's a couple important structures that I want us to pay attention to on the daily. This being one of them right here. Because as you look, there's a clear area of support and resistance. We get a rejection here. We get rejection in this area. Obviously, clear rejection here, 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 and of course there as well. And not only there, but this one yesterday as well, or the day before. So something to keep in mind is the strong support and resistance area where we could get a fake out rejection back up top, where we almost get this bit of a bigger flag before the market goes higher. So again, we're just going to keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and just take that support and resistance off for the moment. And let's drop down into our 4 hour time frame. We're going to clear things up here in just a second. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to go over here and mark up this high. So this just goes to show you that we had a clear break of the high, rejection, market drops back in, and we get this bit of a short. Now this immediately forms our, let me grab our text box. This immediately now forms our higher low. Despite where we're at in the grand scheme of things, this now becomes our higher low. And I'm sorry, let me correct this. Our higher low, and this now becomes our lower high because the market Let's delete these off. Never broke this structure. Now we had a near miss, but we weren't focused on the near miss. What we had down here the other day was our 4-hour liquidity zone where price immediately rejected, pushed up, and just sank down lower. And it didn't just like drop a little bit. We had a market move of like 800 points from there. And now each candle is a 4-hour time frame. So this is over the span of a couple days that it gives us 800 points and drop. Now, I'm not a super big fan of the structure that we have currently in the market. Nothing that I can do about it. It just is what it is. Um, and we're going to take that off and we're going to drop this one right there. Now, price pretty much grabs this low and then continues higher. And reminder, my chart is inverse at the moment. And we have a miss here. So a near miss of this area. And again, like price drops here, drops a little bit lower here, but still after one attempt, two attempts, one attempt, two attempts, three attempts, we still have had a fail to break this structure here. Now I'm going to shape this up. So just a second. We're going to move this lower. We're going to delete that off. And we're going to shape this up just a tad. Not a whole lot, but we're going to shape it up some. Clean this bottom spot up just a little bit. And I'm just going to make a trend line here. Now, there's no real clear pattern per se in this area. Now, there's something I see just from the way I've been looking at the market that would be kind of hard to give to you as a novice trader. If you are a novice trader, if you're an advanced trader, but it's not even about being novice. It's not even about being advanced. What it comes down to is like, what are your eyes accustomed to seeing? And that's really what I mean to say. So I see this area here where we have one touch, two touch, and we could look to go up here for some sort of third touch. Now, I'm not going to expand it all the way up to where the trend line meets the other trend line on our flag. There's no need for that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to mark some important areas. So that right there is our key area, and that's on the 1 hour. So we're going to have a 1 hour liquidity zone marked up right there at 24.45. And then this is our last higher high. And this was our last lower high. Now that I inverted my chart, I see this area here. And yeah, so this is a raw, we're going to we're going to go through this and, mark this up live together. So that way you can kind of see what I'm looking at, what you should be looking at as well. And this also is now going to become a 1 hour liquidity zone where let's say price goes ahead, maybe it pulls back to here, and then we get a continued drop. I'll look for a rejection there and maybe market to move higher. Something, along the lines of this. And we wouldn't break this lower high, meaning that we would continue to see some type of upside to here. So let's invert our chart again. And that's what we would be looking at. So I inverted our chart back so that we can see kind of the market. I'm going to keep an eye on this 1 hour liquidity zone because this one is definitely important. Really, that one got grabbed and it's this one. That one was the last one to get grabbed. And I'm just going to keep an eye on it from here. And a lot of times the market does like to play out on these trend lines. So usually you have a trend line that holds a little more relevance, right? So it hold more relevance either to the top side if it's in a downtrend, or since we're kind of in an uptrend, it's holding more relevance down here on the bottom side of things. So I'd love to see some sort of, touch in this area, a third touch down there. But it doesn't have to, because then I would be okay with it rejecting there, doing some type of flag, pushing higher, just like this, where you'd have some sort of flag here in this area, and then you would be looking for entries just above here to take it higher to the top side. Because remember, where did we start off on our higher time frames? On our monthly and our weekly, which were all in a bullish trend. So something we want to keep in mind. And now as we're dropping down to our 4 hour, it's only in our 4 hour are we starting to get some sort of retracement. And even on our 4 hour, you have to look at where we're at in the middle of things. We had a failed break to go higher to form another higher high, and we've yet to form another lower low because we've gotten a higher low here, we've gotten another higher low here, we got another higher low here in this area. And now the market's just starting to trickle back. And usually what it likes to do in these areas is come down here, grab our most relevant piece of liquidity, faking the people out in the market that it wants to go lower. And even if it did want to go lower, the market would come down here, maybe give a bit of a break, and then push back inside to then continue higher. Now, where would I want to be looking for shorts? Well, I'd want to see shorts. We get a breakdown here, see how it reacts, another clear break, and then I would look for some type of signal down here that the market wants to go shorter, but I would have to have a clear break of this whole area down there. And this is the area I'm talking about. So at 22.93. But the odds of that happening are so slim to none. So instead, this is kind of what we'd be looking at. So this is an option. Option A. We got option B, where price comes down all the way to this, where we would either get a clear breakthrough or clear break back above to then take the market higher. So there's scenario one, scenario two, scenario three. The one to the downside is least likely. The one coming down here, then getting a clear break back above, that would be scenario two. And then scenario one would be getting this push back above, clear break back in to then take the market higher. Now, those are all valid options, and it just depends. The reason I do this is because, like, we don't want to just have one set order or one set plan in place for how we should be approaching the market. Instead, we want to have ideas for how, not how prices, just looks in that area, but how price is forming into these areas. Like I said, it wasn't just if price reaches here, then all of a sudden I'm going to buy. No, there is a set plan. I want to see price reject here, come back above, not just come back above, but I want to see price break this area now, get a break above, and then a pull back into here, then take the trade higher. Okay, that's a pretty set plan. Or, you said it, we want to see a clear break below, and then we would want to see some type of pullback to where we could look for a channel possibly to take the channel lower. Okay, then we would look for the greater reaction down there on the bottom side. Or, like I said, we get some type of clear indication that the market does want to go higher. Now, I have this 1 hour liquidity zone. I'm going to keep it marked up. I'm not going to lose that 1 hour liquidity zone that I have marked here. That's going to stay on my chart until price comes back into this area. If it doesn't, oh well, cool. But that's how I'm going to be playing that. So right now, I'm just going to take that top trend line off that I had it coming down. But I am going to keep this bottom one because we have, again, there's our first touch, second touch, market comes up, and now we're on our way down where we could possibly get a third touch. Now on our 4 hour time frame, or on our daily and on our 4 hour, let's go to daily. On our daily time frame, look where a market is in relevance to things. We had this huge wick down. We haven't really fulfilled this wick, and we had one momentum candle, two momentum candles, and we failed to break this high. And instead, we pushed back lower. Would I love to see some sort of small wick up and then on the next candle get a move down here? For sure. That'd be awesome. I'm not going to complain about that. But as far as the market, if it wants to go higher, like I said, there's going to be areas on our 1 hour now that I'm paying attention to, like this right here, where I want to see the market come back above, then break back inside to then look for some type of top side potential. So that's kind of how I'm looking at XAU. Bitcoin, again, this is kind of similar to how I have XAU marked. We have a 1, a 2, and the market came down here all the way for a third and a fourth touch, almost grabbing our liquidity, which we could just get some type of move down, then go higher. But as of right now, almost grabbed it down there. US 30, we had a call for up here, short potential in the market up here. Market comes all the way down. And usually we're looking for the market, since it's broken here, we want to see how it handles our trend. Okay, so I want to see it hit our trend and then come back lower, forming some type of bigger pattern where we would look for a flag in this area to then take the market down to here. That's how I'd be playing US 30, NAS 100. I think it barely missed our take profit that we had. I mean, barely. So it's something I want to keep in mind as well. GBP USD, not much. Tesla. I can't believe Tesla got all the way back to 182. Crazy, especially since it was just at 270. Nvidia, we are sitting at 103. We got down to 91. Filled this gap for the most part, and it's not so much just a gap, but look at this area right here. Price is either above or it's below. There's never just an in-between area. So the fact that we got back above, we could look for price to potentially stay back above this area and then form some type of deeper, pattern, more formed pattern, I should say. And then as far as the dollar, that's our liquidity zone that I have marked, which was here. And price just barely missed it again. So again, something I want to keep in mind is that we had a near miss down there. Usually the market likes to fulfill those areas, but it's the market. It doesn't have to do anything that I want it to do. It has its own mind. And yeah, so there's kind of our market outlook. Like I said, that's kind of how I'm playing XAU. Am I jumping into any trades now? No. Do I plan to jump into any trades now? No. I want to see the market give me some sort of indication of where it wants to go first. And that's probably how you should be playing this area as well. No such thing as getting into late, especially in a market that has endless opportunities. Until next Asia session, peace. And look out for the published idea.